and welcome to episode number 13, Lucky 13 of Mechanical Mashup. And today Dave shows you how badly he sucks plastic down onto a vacuum table to make a plastic piece for his phone. And I will finally get around to showing you the dimensions to that bad boy kite up there.
This is the most requested project we've had for our show, so without any further ado, I bring you the vacuum forming table. With this, you can make 3D shells out of plastic, almost any shape your imagination could come up with. All you need is some scrap wood, some scrap plastic, a drill, a saw, some screws, some weather stripping, a few ABS plumbing parts, and some silicone sealing. First we need to make the table surface. Now it's kind of like an air hockey table that runs in reverse. The size of the holes isn't that important as long as they don't get clogged and as long as they're not so big that it sucks the plastic into it. And the spacing isn't all that important either. Just put as many holes in as you can fit comfortably.
For the table, we're going to drill a hole in a piece of wood so that we can fit some PVC piping through, 90 degrees to attach the vacuum, some legs to keep the 90-degree bend off the ground. Then we have a chamber we're going to make by stacking some frames up, and then the tabletop all glued together and weather stripped on top. So you can see the reason for that chamber is so when the air passes down through the table and the holes, it gets into that chamber, which allows lots of clearance for the PVC piping to allow the air to flow down towards the vacuum nozzle, which will be attached at the end. Now to hold our soft, melty plastic, we're going to need to make a sandwich with a wooden frame. The frame should sit on top of the weather stripping on the table, and then we just screw the two pieces together right through the plastic.
So this is the table. Now we need to find something or make something to mold. Things you could make with this: funky ice cube trays, funky peanut butter cup trays like I showed you in episode 8 how to make. You could make an RC car body. You could make lost wax metal castings. You could have the plastic mold for your wax mold and then take your wax and make another mold out of it. You could actually make plaster molds. You could create some sort of funky dog dish for your pet. The only limit is it has to have draft.
Draft in engineering is the amount of taper put into a part perpendicular to the parting line, so that pieces can be removed quite easily.
Alright, I chose the back of my phone because it was an interesting and complex shape that I thought I could pull off. Traced it out onto a scrap piece of MDF wood. Cut it out with a jigsaw. Sanded it nice and smooth and started to shape it. Fine adjusting of the shape, and there's some coarse adjusting of the shape. Always checking to make sure I was following along close. Everything was by eye. I actually didn't measure anything. It was all just fit.
Could be like
Final sanding. Spray it with some paint to seal the pores. Okay, here we're attaching the vacuum cleaner to our 90-degree PVC pipe. Just seal it with duct tape. Real easy.
So I use a lasagna pan here. I have to line the bottom of it with some wax paper just in case the plastic touches. The trick is we know the plastic's done when it starts to sag down in the center.
Okay, put it in the oven. I do it at 350 degrees on the top element. Turn on the vacuum cleaner. I used a shop vac, but you don't need to use a shop vac. You can use a regular vacuum cleaner. Press it down on the weather stripping nice and firm. Be sure to wear gloves.
Alright, seriously, how cool is that? Let's watch it again. That's awesome. I love it.
I used a Dremel tool with a cut-off wheel to cut out the shape of the hard plastic. Had to do lots of little nicks and cuts and shaping, and then spray some paint on it, a couple coats of paint, sand it, paint it again.
So after the paint dries, put the final touches, cut out little holes for the speakers and whatever this grommet is to line everything up. Let's try it out. I'll be honest, it did take a little bit of playing with to get it to work perfectly, but that's pretty darn good for making it for free. It's a pretty good copy of the original. So now, if you break your cell phone battery cover, you have a way to fix it.
So what I'm going to finally do is show you how to basically design that kite in a CAD program called Sketchup, which you can find at Google. Just look up Sketchup. That's like ketchup with an S. And also I'll give you a couple good online resources for learning how to fly a kite just like this.
So this is a little bit of a deviation for what I normally do, but I'm going to show you guys basically how you can design a kite or something else in here. So you get SketchUp. It's SKETCHUP, and you can download it at Google. They own it. You can get a free version if you're just going to use it at home. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the kite dowels that I used. Now these were about 7 millimeters, and you'll notice down here I typed in the radius 7 millimeters. Actually, that would probably want the diameter, so I want to go 3.5 millimeters. And we're going to zoom in on that little tiny dot. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this bad boy here, and you can grab him. And those dowels are 36 inches long. Now if I want to move something and I press and hold down the option key, it will allow me to make a copy. So we got 4 of those for the kite. This down, and we'll go -10 for that one. And we'll click on the next guy here. And we want him to do the reverse, which would be 10 degrees. Then at this point we got to just basically move them roughly into the positions that they're going to be. And we also need the center dowel, this little guy here. So that's 3.5 millimeters, again diameter. Let's zoom in on it. That center dowel happens to be 10 inches long. So we'll do 10. And we'll create 2 more of the other guys, which are 26.5 inches tall. So now we've got the main rods for this. We will carry on in just a moment and place everything in the right spot and place the sails. And then I'll show you how to measure everything out so that you can create your own kite and design it and build it up. So what do we do next here? Well, we need some reference geometry, and the best thing to do is grab this bad boy here, and that will allow you to create some reference lines. So that's 25 inches out. This one here is 25 as well. And we want to go from the base, we want to go up 5 inches, and that's halfway along this dowel here. So now I've got that one on the line. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of these, so Control Select will allow me to select both of those pieces. And then I'll move them based off of that point. And we'll go to the end. Now this is just roughing things out. Remember that when you're roughing the kite out, you don't have to go into all the detail of all the knots and everything. You just want to get it roughed out. It's not something that's so super precise that you can't kind of fudge a little bit. And if you want more information on how to use SketchUp, just go to the SketchUp site. There's tons of video tutorials on how to get started and start using it. Highly recommend you do that. It's a great resource to use, especially if you're a home hobbyist. You know, the sail starts here, goes to the point right there, and comes up to about here. And let's close this guy off. And there you go. So there's one sail. Oh, based off of what I have here so far, is I've got the sails, and I can grab measurements from them so that I can make my kite. I know that this one is 2 foot 1 inch and 5/16 long along that edge, and you get those dimensions. Okay, so what I need you guys to do is you go to sketchup.google.com, and you'll be able to download Google SketchUp free for Windows XP, Vista, Windows 7, and Mac OS X. So you can basically use it on pretty much any platform you want. Now, to get the model, you go to 3D Warehouse. Now, if you want to get the file, you go to sketchup.google.com/3D Warehouse and look up x-quad, and you will find the kite model right here that you can download and use and modify or make whatever you want.
Well, thank you for watching episode number 13 of Mechanical Mashup. You'll notice below that there's a friend feed for Facebook. I'd really appreciate you'd follow that if you like the show. Other than that, you guys have a great week.